Let's get back to our top story, which is Nigeria's Securities and Exchange Commission, which yesterday announced that regulatory fee or charges will be placed on the trading of Naira bonds in the market effective January the 1st, 2022. The Securities Commission says it will charge 0.025% on all secondary bond traded on any securities exchanges. Now let's get more on this forward-looking development with the CEO and head of dealing at Cowry Asset Management, Johnson Chukwu. Great to have you on the show again, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, Bosin. Merry Christmas in advance.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your time always with us here on the show. Please give me your first word on this new circular issued by the SEC on the move to collect regulatory fees on secondary trading in bonds.
What my take is that it will impose burdens on the secondary market activities in the bond market, particularly given that what we are trying to do is encourage secondary market trading in bonds. And any additional cost that investors are going to bear will certainly, to some extent, act as some level of deterrence. And remember that in the case of bond, the volumes are quite huge. The volume of transactions you execute in a bond are quite huge. And beyond that, most people are investing in bond are investing for fixed income return. They are not necessarily investing in capital gain. So any fee that they have to bear in order to execute transactions in the secondary market will entail that the return or the yield on those instruments will be adjusted or exactly reduced. The effective yield to them will be reduced by that fee they are paying. And as it stands today, SEC is saying that they will charge 0.025%, and then the exchange on which the bond is traded will also charge not more than 0.25%. So in effect, you're going to have a charge of about 0.05%.
Okay, just a little bit for the benefit of everyone. When we talk about bond trading, you say this is huge, unlike stocks where you could have 25 transactions, you can buy 10 units of shares of a particular company. In the fixed income, it's a whole lot different. What's the average volume of what we're talking about here and the price on each of these Naira bonds?
If you look at, for instance, federal government bonds or even state government bonds that are traded, but most active bonds are largely federal government bonds, you realize that the ticket of transactions are run into millions of Naira, and sometimes in billions of Naira. And the key thing is that for small-time investors, retail investors who want to buy maybe 500,000 Naira worth of a bond, and they have to pay a fee of about 0.05%. So what they do is, if that bond has a yield of 6% or 6.5%, in effect, they are no longer going to get effective 6.5% return on their investment or yield. That return will be adjusted by the cost that have incurred in executing that trade. So that's the challenge you have. So the attraction for retail investors is that when they buy a bond in the secondary market, that the yield, the effective yield, is the yield on that bond at the time of purchase. Of course, the yield on a bond varies according to market prices, but an investor is looking at what is the yield to him. In the case of equities, you could buy an equity instrument today and the price could appreciate materially. Of course, also we know the risk of price depreciation is also there. But most investors in equity instruments are investing on the basis that, look, you have multiple streams of income from investment in equities, one of which is your capital gain. The second one is your dividend income. And the third one, you can actually have a bonus dividend. And these are returns, that multiple sources of returns you can get from an equity instrument. In the case of bond, it's largely your coupon. Most people do not trade in bond for capital gain because they don't understand the concept of trading in bond for capital gains. So most of them are buying to hold, waiting for coupon payment. So that coupon payment effective return to them will be adjusted by the new charge.
Okay, so the SEC says it's going to be charging 0.025%. Who else is taking, who else is biting out of this secondary bond trading moving forward under the new arrangement?
Well, the exchange, in this time around, when we're talking about exchange, you're talking about NGS. NGS is a platform on which bonds are traded. You have FMDQ. FMDQ is also another platform, another exchange on which bonds are traded. And then, so these two major exchanges You have secondary market trading in bonds, and they are the ones who will also get the income that is attributed to exchange on which the bonds are traded.
Okay, so why do you think the SEC is rolling out this particular new regulatory fee on secondary trading in bonds?
Well, Boston, if you recall, one of our conversations not too long ago, we discussed the financial challenges of SEC. And it was in that conversation we said that SEC was struggling to meet its financial needs. It was not earning enough return or enough revenue. So I think this is one of the avenues they've identified as sort of enhancing their revenue and putting them in the green. So clearly, there is SEC has a compelling need to increase their revenue sources or their earnings such that they'll be able to meet all the obligations. And this, for me, this is a lame duck for them in the sense that I said the volume of trades in bonds are huge, far above the volume of trades you can see in equities on a daily basis. A single day, a single ticket in bond could be multiples of billions of naira, single ticket. And then whatever fraction of commission you charge on that bond will amount to a huge amount of money for SEC and for the exchange.
I stand by Johnson Chukwu and everyone. There's more on the subject when we return. This is Arise Exchange. We're back into everyone. Okay, let's continue this future forward conversation with Johnson Chukwu, CEO at Carry Asset Management, on the latest notification by the Securities and Exchange Commission here in Nigeria. The regulatory fee will begin to be charged on secondary trading of bonds from January 2022. Thank you so much, sir, for being there. What about let's talk about other fees involved in the primary bond issuance market segment. I know when there are also fees involved. So we'll talk about this, is the secondary market. What about the primary market for bonds?
Well, in the primary market, there are fees that SEC is entitled to. The fees are staggered or based on the volume of the offer. For an amount of less than 500 million, the fee is different. It's about 0.15%. Above that, between 500 and 1 billion, it's about 0.145%, 1425%, and then 145%, and then for those above 1 billion above, it's about 1425%. So and like you know, this is a one-off cost, and it's normally taken as cost of the offer. But clearly, SEC gets fees from primary market offers. But remember that we are not seeing so many of such primary market offers coming from the private sector or subnationals. I don't see them. They don't charge on federal government bond issues that are handled by the DMO. Because if they do charge on that, they would have made so much money from federal government bond issuances. But for private sector, either corporate bond or state government bonds, they charge between 0.1425% to 0.15%.
Now, there are a number of mutual funds in the market that are tied to fixed income, in particular the Naira bonds, whether they are Sukuk or the savings bond or the monthly FGN bond auction by the debt office. So, what would this latest development announcement by the SEC mean for investors who are exposed in these collective investment schemes or managed funds that are exposed to fixed income from January the 1st?
I think the mutual funds are going to seek for clarity. That regulation that came from SEC indicated that for operators like Carry Asset and other operators in the market, they are not going to pay the 0.025%. They will pay 0.0001% for their bond transactions. What that means, they're going to pay an insignificant cost in terms of their bond transactions. So I want to believe that mutual funds issuers or mutual funds are going to seek for clarity from SEC to be included as operators in the market and not be subject to the 0.025% that they are paying to SEC at 0.25, not more than 0.25% to the exchange. And that will make a lot of difference, because if you impose that 0.05% on transactions on fixed income instruments by mutual funds, you're going to erode the returns that are due to such retail investors who are investing into collective investment instruments.
Sir, do you think the whole conversation we've had for months and years about the fees and charges in the Nigerian market, do you think this latest announcement by the SEC just raised that conversation, bring it back to the front burner once again about the cost of doing business or the cost of transactions on the Nigerian securities market?
Well, I would look at it from two perspectives. We've seen in the equity space, we've seen progressive decline in fees. The SEC has been driving down fees in the equity space. But interestingly, the fixed income space, because that segment has been under development, and this is the first time SEC is introducing this regulatory charge for the exchange that is executing the trade. So one of the things you have to look at is that at what point do you consider a market has matured enough to impose charges on operators and transactions on that market? I want to believe that because we are not even seeing so much of corporate bonds in the market, the market development should actually be when you see private sector issuances in the market. It's not government sector issuance. Government is certainly borrowing to meet budgetary challenges. So it's the private sector that will be borrowing for development purposes that you will know that the market has matured. So for me, it's not whether there's need to charge. Certainly, ultimately, when the market matures and it's fully developed, there will be charges by regulators and other operators. But as it stands today, I think that market, the fixed income space, is still evolving, and they may need to cut it some further slack to allow you to develop further.
Okay, on a final note, I'm just trying to find out what your outlook is for 2021 in terms of whether investors, things will ease off for investors one way or the other.
Well, what I will look at is that I'm hoping that barring any major dislocation in the economic space, macroeconomic space, like withdrawal of fuel subsidy, we may see a continuous decline in inflation rate due to the base effect. And hopefully, inflation rate will decline to a level that will, to some extent, be compensated by return on fixed income instruments. So you're going to see a lot more investment in a market where interest rates are at least above or commensurate with inflation. That will also restore some level of confidence, even in equity instruments. The challenge with Nigerians is that in almost all investment asset classes, there is none you can be rest assured that your return on investment will be higher than the current inflation rate.
Johnson Chukwu, licensed trader and CEO at Kauri Asset Management. Thank you so much for your time. Have a pleasant weekend.